Welcome to the Langley Event Center, the home of another PACWEST soccer doubleheader, this time between the Langara Falcons and the VIU Mariners. It is match day 7, week 4, and the VIU Mariners still sit atop the table despite taking their first loss of the season last weekend. Langara, meanwhile, right on their tails. 2 points separating these two squads. Of course, the reigning champions, VIU and Langara, first and second spot, respectively. Last weekend, Langara went 1 win, 1 draw against Douglas. Tess Vandevecht and Abigail Gade had the goals there for the Falcons, while VIU, meanwhile, went 1 win, 1 loss against Capilano, their first loss of the season, and a bit of an upset as well, as Capilano were looking for their first victory of the campaign. These teams have already met once. VIU victorious 3-0 right here at the Langley Event Center, with Dillabo, Henderson, and Nichols with the goals. Entering this weekend, Langara number 7 in the CCAA rankings, same as last week in week 3. Meanwhile, VIU entered this weekend ranked number 4, falling from the number 1 spot, which they had taken up spot in week number 3. Let's get you the starting lineups for both squads just before we kick off this matchup. Let's start with the visiting Mariners. In goal, number 1, Caden Thorpe, who, by the way, has yet to concede a goal all season. The outfield, number 3, Jada Kammerman. Number 4, Emma Thornton. Number 7, Mary Nichols. Number 9, Mary Huggle, who actually brought home the Women's Athlete of the Week honors in the PACWEST Soccer Division. Number 11, Maya Creed. Number 12, Ella Gignac. Number 13, Courtney Ingram. Number 14, Hannah Wagner. Number 19, Avery Henderson. And number 22, Jade Dillabo. The Vancouver Island University Mariners are led by head coach Bobby Taylor. Meanwhile, the Langara Falcons in goal, as she has been all season long. Number 1, Kate Bonazoo. Outfield, number 3, Rita Cerceris. Number 5, Madison Hung. Number 6, Ashleen Jassar. Number 9, Erin Bandel, the leading scorer alongside Madison Hung for the Falcons. Number 10, Abigail Gade, who scored last weekend. Number 11, Amber Wells. Number 13, Cassidy Kwan. Number 16, Tess Vandevecht. Number 21, Ava Giovinazzo. Number 25, Annette Hernandez. The head coach for the Falcons is Alvin Prasad. We are now underway here at the Langley Event Center. Good early dispossess there by Annette Hernandez. Now, still Hernandez carrying with it in this left channel. Bandel and back to Rita Cerceris. Good early pressure here from the Falcons. Giovinazzo tries to play it into the area, but that one will evade the Falcons attackers. The Falcons today wearing their all-orange strip with a little bit of white and black piping and trimming. Of course, orange, one of the natural colors of the Falcons anyways, but ahead of National Truth and Reconciliation Day, they are wearing the Snoelith Lelum uniforms. In 2016, Musqueam honored Langara with the name Snoelith Lelum, which means House of Teachings. And the name references advice given to a child to build their character and guide them into adulthood. So lots of meaning behind the orange strips for the Falcons today. The Mariners, meanwhile, they're wearing their white kits, white socks with blue shorts, a little bit of Mariner blue, a little bit of sea blue, Pacific Ocean blue, if you will. They also have blue lettering and some black trim and piping as well. Early corner kick here for the Falcons. From the left-hand side, it's Madison Hung who played into the near post. It's cleverly side-footed away, but not completely clear, as Tess Vandevecht has managed to get on the end of it. Amber Wells now trying to get free for a shot. She does ever so well. Still going here, Wells. Can she ride the tackles? That was a bit of a dicey challenge. She got caught between 2 sets of white legs there, did Wells, but clever play and courageous play as well. She had white shirts draped all over her there, did Wells, and she still had a lot of the tough work to do, but she's done ever so well to win a corner kick, this time from the right-hand side. 2 now for the Falcons, as we're now in the 3rd minute. 0-0, but Langara looking the feistier of the two squads. Madison Hung, right-footed outswinger to the top of the area, headed on by Cassidy Kwan. It's a glancing header, Amber Wells tried to chase it down, but it's played out again. Good early pressure here from the Mariners, and it's a stark contrast from what happened last time these two squads played here at the Langley Event Center, as the Mariners pretty much controlled not the entire run of the 90 play, but if you looked at the possession stats and the passing stats, I'd be willing to wager that they favored the Mariners, and I think the scoreline reflected it. I beg your pardon. It was a 3-0 final with Langara not getting a ton of chances on net. They're very stingy in defense, are the Mariners, but they can also bowl past teams with lots of goals. But they've taken a little bit of blow to their title defense and potential playoff bye. After losing to Capilano, they were rolling were the Mariners. They looked like they were unbeatable, and Capilano, who were looking down and out of it at times, managed to get a plucky 1-0 victory last weekend. That kind of upset the apple cart if you're a Blues fan, or I beg your pardon, if you're a Mariners fan. As with a win and a draw against Douglas, the Falcons managed to claw themselves to within 2 points of the VIU Mariners. So this is a big clash here, especially for the Falcons if they want to prove their intentions to go ahead and get that first spot in the PACWEST and, dare I say, even compete for a championship after not having made the playoffs last season. I think a result here today would go a good way towards getting that done. Rita Sears now plays it into the feet of Cassidy Kwan. It was a pacey ball, which Kwan could only force back to Van de Vecht. Hernandez now. Good diagonal ball from Van de Vecht finds Sears onside. Sears is going to take on the defender. Comes off the shins of Sears. And Rita's actually managed to keep it alive and win a corner kick. It came off the lunging tackle of Ella Gignac. And this first foray forward for the Falcons, I don't think VIU have managed to possess the ball inside the Falcons' half. We're 5 minutes in, 0-0, and it's been all orange shirts here at the Langley Event Center. PACWEST action again here from Willoughby Park. Ball into the near post. And now into the feet of Avery Henderson, who actually scored in the first match these two played. Henderson, Dillabo, and Nichols all on the score sheet a couple weeks ago here at Willoughby Park. And of course, number 9, Mary Huggle, who was all over the score sheet last weekend, earning herself Athlete of the Week honors for the Mariners. She's on the pitch today as well too, and she'll be one that the Falcons will definitely have to button up. Ball into the area from Gade, not dealt with entirely. Wells was there on the penalty dot to try and make a nuisance of herself, and the Falcons' early press continues here. Sears battling out with her fellow number 3, Cammerman, and that's going to be a healthy duel, as it was the last time these two played. 6th minute, still 0-0. And Cameraman's gotten around Sears that time, but Van de Vecht just steps in with a big tackle and wins the ball back for the Falcons, but she's been dispossessed now. Was it offside? It wasn't. It did take a deflection off a Falcon. Cameraman might get a chance to put it into the area. She's still going to continue her run. Comes off a couple sets of bodies, including Giovinazzo, and it'll be a corner kick for VIU, and you can just see how fast the likes of Cameraman and some of those VIU attacking players spring to action after playing a bit of rope-a-dope there. They almost caught the Falcons napping. It's time for the ladies from the island to have their say from some set-piece service. If you're coming out to Langley, it is a bit gray, not windy. It looks like the rain might hold off for now. Cameraman, great cross into the area. It's palmed away by Bonazou, only as far as Henderson at the back post. Can Henderson clip it back in? She does, but it comes off the backside of Gade. And now Gade does very well to press that ball further up the field. I believe it's Maya Creed that she was really giving a hard time to. Good ball in there by Hernandez. And now Bandel has a chance to break. Didn't look like that was too pleasant for Emma Thornton, who's just picking herself up off the turf. It wasn't a malicious or a dirty tackle by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a beefy challenge, to put it mildly. Rita Sears now in another track race with Cameraman. Sears will get to this one, and under a bit of pressure, just poke it out for a throw and take a chance to regroup. We're now in the 8th minute. It's still 0-0. Ooh, and the throw kind of got away from cameraman there, but actually ended up working almost as a dummy for herself. VIU just can't keep it alive in the opposition end. And VIU, as mentioned, very sturdy in the back, but also no strangers to potting a few goals. They have, gosh, let me count. Oh, we have a player down here, and that looks like some discomfort. I was just about to get into some goal statistics, but that'll take a back seat to a player down here. Just trying to have a look to see who the player is. Is it Madison Hung? I don't believe it is. Giovinazzo's just over to have a quick chat. Just not able to see the number on the player down. Might very well be Hung, because I'm just doing a quick head count of the Langara Falcons in the scrum at half field, and I don't think Madison Hung is amongst the numbers, and she went down, and I didn't see what it was at first glance. I was kind of dragged away by the play, and it kind of happened behind the play, maybe just a planted leg. She's getting her right knee, I want to say, looked at right now. Yeah, that does not look good for Madison Hung. I'm just having a quick peek down at the Langara substitutes bench, and Coach Alvin Prasad does have a couple of the ladies warming up. Yeah, Madison Hung now just starting to get up off the turf, and yeah, that does not look good. That does not look good. And that is a blow to the Falcons, as Madison Hung, alongside with Erin Bandel, is the leading top scorer for the club, and has definitely been one of those straws that stirs the Kool-Aid, if you will, for the Falcons. She's been a great addition to this club, and it'll be a tough spot to fill. She's pacey. She can run the channels. She has something a little bit different skill set and attribute-wise than the rest of the attacking Falcon players, so this will be a big miss for the Falcons if they're not able to get her back to match fitness, and it's so unfortunate for Madison Hung, who is a battler. But sometimes this turf has different ideas. It looks like it'll be a substitution for the Falcons upcoming. It'll be number 14, also very pacey and had a plethora of chances last weekend against Douglas, and she'll be licking her lips to try and get on the score sheet. It's number 14, Marina Paschalidis, and she'll be coming on shortly. VIU now back in control of the ball. We're back underway here, as Mary Huggle plays a very clever ball into the path of the number 13. It was Courtney Ingram, but it was well defended by the Falcons. Cameraman and Sir Sirius continue their saga on that left channel. Cameraman clips into that left channel, looking for Maya Creed. I beg your pardon, it's actually Mary Nichols. Right-footed shot. That one gets clipped up into the air by Jasser. Not dealt with by Sir Sirius, and Cameraman keeps it alive. Cameraman plays it through the legs of Sir Sirius. Annette Hernandez will come and give a little bit of supplemental defense, and it'll be another corner kick for the Mariners. There is one match on the out-of-town scoreboard today. Third spot Douglas taking on fourth spot Capilano with their victory, and Douglas is slow start to the season. That's going to be a real dogfight to see who misses the playoffs. And do we have a goal at the back post? We don't. There was a couple Mariners just barreling down on that one at the back stick. Was it Ella Gignac who was the closest to that? It was a heap of blonde hair as a couple girls threw their head at it. I think it might have been Gignac. I beg your pardon. It was actually Courtney Ingram who launched herself like a Scud missile at that one, and she was lucky not to hit the post. That was dangerous play, but she looked hungry for the goal there, and that's what you like to see. We're just going to bring up the out-of-town scoreboard here shortly as Capilano and Douglas have kicked off in the other matchup. Bandel trying to play it into the path of Paschalidis. Can she get there? She will. Paschalidis. She's a step ahead of her player, and that might be a yellow card if it's brought back eventually. Good advantage there by the referee, who might now bring that back, and that is a yellow card. That was a stiff boot to the back of the legs of Paschalidis, who had to be brave there. You had to know Paschalidis was probably expecting that whack to the back of the Achilles, and she took it like a champ. I want to say it was Gignac there who dealt out that one. That was beefy. And good refereeing, though, as well, because it would have been very easy just to whistle that one down, because you could hear it and you could almost feel it in your bones from up here in the broadcast vantage point. That was a robust challenge, to put it mildly. But the referee played the right advantage, and then once the advantage had kind of snuffed itself out, he brought it back. Good refereeing there. 14th minute, and another real chance for the Falcons, and not only that, but something to really build off of if you're the Falcons attacking player. They'll be pressing the number 12, Gignac, at every opportunity. It'll be Hernandez on the right foot. She's just waiting for some bodies to go in motion. She's actually going to tee up Van de Vecht, who's going to have a right-footed black. Oh, and she slipped on the ball. Now that could be tough for the Falcons, who are now playing 4-on-2. Good play there by Sir Sears to win the ball and save a potential counter-attacking goal. But the real story is up the field. Tess Van de Vecht looked like she might have rolled an ankle or even clipped a knee ever so slightly there when she stood on the ball. It was Annette Hernandez, I beg your pardon, with the layoff, and ironically enough, Van de Vecht scored from that exact same spot last weekend on a free kick against Douglas in their 1-1 draw here. And it looked like she might go and have a carbon copy, but physics and once again the fussy turf has kind of put a hamper on that, and Alvin Prasad might be 2 starters down less than 15 minutes in, as we've already seen Madison Hung make her way to the physio bench, and now might be one of his stalwart center backs, Tess Van de Vecht. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, as mentioned, third place Douglas taking on Capilano, 4th place, both sitting on 1 win, only 1 point between the two, and both trying to avoid that playoff drop that happens if you finish in 4th spot. 0-0. Just over 13 minutes in between Capilano and Douglas. Van de Vecht still getting looked at just down below us, and I think if you're a Falcon supporter / player, the last thing you would have wanted to have seen happen there was not only one of your starting players and center backs going down, but then getting scored on the ensuing counterattack. That would have been a little bit of a salt in the wound, but Rita Series did just enough to peel the ball away from the island, or I beg your pardon, the Mariners, who I guess are Islanders. They are from the island, so. And that might be an early night for Tess Van de Vecht as well, and that's such a shame for the Falcons, who have probably been the better of the 2 squads in this opening 17 minutes or so, but now 2 of their best players at both ends of the field, offensively and defensively, will be forced into treatment and some physio on the sidelines. We hope to see them return in the later stages of this game. I'm just having a peek down at the Langara Falcons physio tent below us, and Madison Hung is, it looks like it's the right ankle that she's got iced up. She looks like she's in a bit of rough shape, and Van de Vecht doesn't look like she's faring much better. And that will certainly add to some stoppage time here in this first half. In the opening 20 minutes, we've already had 2 injuries, which you never like to see, but that'll tack on at least 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 minutes to the end of this 45 here. And we're back underway. With Van de Vecht leaving the park, they've brought on the number 23, Madison Pinch, who missed the game here at the Langley Event Center last weekend against Douglas. Usually partners alongside Van de Vecht, but she will now fill in for her usual sidekick. We're in the 19th minute. If you're just joining us, Langara probably the better two of the teams as far as offensive quality, but they've both, I beg your pardon, they've succumbed to two injuries. Both Falcon injuries. Madison Hung attacking and Tess Van de Vecht in the defense. Gade in a healthy duel there. Well, this looks promising for the Mariners. It's Cameraman into the box, right-footed shot. It's a tame one. She had Gia Venazzo cutting down the angle there. I'm sure of Cameraman's standard. Just before the injury there, I was mentioning the players in the goal-scoring column for the Mariners. It's goal-scoring by committee over there, and plentiful. Ingram and Thornton lead VIU with 3 goals each. Henderson, Dillabo, Narduzzi, Huggle, Cameraman, and Nichols also have 2 goals each, so lots of guns to go to there if you're a Mariner supporter. Cassidy Kwan wins the ball in the middle of the park. Cassidy Kwan, as mentioned in broadcast past for the Falcons, is one of those Swiss Army knife players. She can play as a number 9. She can play as a 10. She can play as a box-to-box midfielder. She can play as a holding midfielder. And that is a brutal tackle. That is a UFC challenge for me. Cameraman should be booked there. She more or less grabbed her by the arm and threw Sears to the ground, and I'd be surprised if Sears is not injured here. That's more of a yellow card than the first one, and the first one was pretty bad. And Sears looks like she's going to continue here. She might not, but that was a brutal tackle. That was a pretty brutal tackle. It looked like a healthy joust, but at the end of it, she more or less grabbed her arm, wrenched it down, and threw her to the turf. That was about as nasty as a challenge as you're going to see that isn't a flying double-footed lunge. And that might be an early evening for Rita Sears as well. And you hate to see it because she's one of those promising defensive lights for the Falcons. Yeah, that's a yellow card all day. I don't know what that referee is looking at. That's brutal. And you hate to see it after having the Falcons gone down 2 players. You hope it's not malicious from Cameraman, but that looked like a UFC judo throw for me. And I was staring right at it, so. Pinch now. Right-footed diagonal into the penalty box. Knocked down by Wells, only as far as Jasser. Left-footed cross to the back post. Pashalides is there. And so was Bandel, but neither of them close enough to just hang a foot at it. Hernandez has the ball go over her head. Now Madison Pinch will chase against Cameraman. Don't think Langara's brought on a sub for Sears just yet, and that Falcons physio bench is absolutely packed at the moment. Van de Vecht, Sears, and Hung all in there within the space of 22 minutes. They're going to bring on their number 2, Azra Sidik, to fill in for Sears, it looks like. Throw in by Gignac. Ball crossed into the penalty dot. The Mariners were just trying to collapse on the penalty spot there, but the Falcons did ever so well to to shield it, defend it, and now they get a chance to break with Bandel and Abigail Gade. Good play there by Bandel, who's going to shrug away one. Shrug away two is Bandel, but unfortunately she runs into a sea of white shirts, and Mary Huggle comes away with it. Right-footed shot by Dillabo, palmed down by Bonazou. It was hit with some kind of sting, but fortunately for Bonazou, right at her. The Falcons still waiting to make this substitution with Azra Sidik just below us. Good play there by Huggle to get around two Falcons. She outlets to her left for Thornton. Dillabo's made to chase a ball by the far corner flag. She's going to get there, but she has Jasser right on top of her. And finally, they'll get the help they need, number 2, Azra Sidik, into this one to replace Sir Sirius. And you just hope that Sir Sirius, along with Van de Vecht and Hung, are okay. Those are 3 starting players for the Falcons that are a good part of the reason the Falcons are in the shape they're in. And just judging Alvin Prasad's body language, he's not happy. He's just asking Sir Sirius if she's okay to go, and judging by his reaction, it sounds like he got some negative news that he wasn't expecting there. Good 1-2 soccer there by the Mariners. Huggle plays it to the right for Cameraman. Cameraman skips past Sidik into the area. Madison Pinch does just enough for the ball to go out of play, and that ball was out of play by a ball's width, and I don't know what the lineman is doing, not putting his flag up, and the ball goes in the back of the net, and that is unfortunate / controversial. I don't know how else to call it. That ball looked fairly out to me, and the Mariners will take full advantage. The Falcons couldn't clear the ball, and they've popped it home, and it looks like Mary Huggle will be the one to get it and add to her Athlete of the Week honors. That looked like 2 ball widths out. And we could see it from up here. And that's unfortunate for the Falcons, who started ever so brightly, but now through some injuries and, let's face it, not good rubs of the green here. Ball played into the path of Pashalides, almost on the deflection. If you're just joining us, 1-0 the way of the Mariners. I believe it's Mary Huggle with the goal. But the real story is some injuries to the Falcons. 3 in the space of the opening 20 minutes has really put them behind the 8 ball here against the PACWEST leading Mariners. Oh my goodness, that's as clear as a handball as there ever is going to be, and I don't know what he waved play on there for. This referee is having a bit of a shocker at the moment, it has to be said. It has to be said. And Alvin Prasad is incredulous, and I can't say I blame him for once. Bandel presses Huggle. Be a throw in at the halfway line for Ella Gignac. There's not much that the Mariners can do about some of the referee decisions and some of the injuries, but They just have to go about and play their game, so you give full credit to the Mariners. There's nothing they're doing that's wrong here. All they can do is put their best foot forward and try and go ahead and get this away result. And at the moment, they're doing just that after having to weather a bit of a storm. And Coach Alvin Prasad starting to show a bit of emotion now. Not that he doesn't always show emotion. I say like he's a quiet guy on the bench. He is known to come up off of his technical area and gesticulate, but what coach isn't? Let's be honest here. And right now he probably feels that his squad is being a bit hard done by. I can't say I disagree with him. We're just waiting for a ball to get back in play here. Sometimes it's tough to find good ball people, but they've managed to get it back to Elagignac. Thornton. Dillabo into the box! Good clearance there by Sidik, and it needed to be. She had cameraman right there waiting to poke home the pieces. Good intervention there by the number 2 Sidik, who had come into this one as a substitute for Rita Series. 2 points separating these two squads entering match day number 7. Ingram was pulled back there as she was trying to just spin around and unleash a shot. 30th minute, and the Mariners will have a chance from just outside the penalty arc here from the free kick. Langara looking to make amends for their 3-0 defeat here to the Mariners earlier in the campaign. And hopefully close the gap, if not just keep it within distance between the second and first place squads. Just trying to see the number of the player standing behind this one. I think it might be Maya Creed. No, I beg your pardon. Creed's back at the halfway line. It's a 4 Falcon wall here. But if she gets it up and over in that wall, it's a tall one as well. It might be hard pressed for Bonazou to get there. Here comes the service. It's a heck of a hit there. It's the number 7, Mary Nichols, who had a screamer of a goal last time these two played. We know she has that kind of range. Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Douglas and Capilano ladies currently scoreless. About 17 minutes left to go in that one. And that's a big match too, because only a point separates those two clubs at the bottom of the women's table. Bonazou plays out to her left for Madison Pinch. Oh, and it doesn't look like it's good news for Alvin Prasad and his 3 injured players, your Sirius Hung and Van de Vecht. All 3 were in the physio tent. All 3 have since left the physio tent, and it doesn't look like they're trying to make any effort towards getting ready to come back on. It looks like it might be an early night for those 3 players. So Alvin Prasad will have to see this one out with the orange shirts that he has at his disposal. Good through ball there, finds Abigail Gade. Can she help out the Falcons, who have had a real tough time getting forward in the last, probably 20 minutes or so? They started the match so well, but Of course, it's kind of been the talking point here. Once those injuries start piling up, that does mess with the flow and the rhythm of your team. Cassidy Kwan does well to get herself a bit of space in between a couple Mariner shirts. All she can do is uncork a shot come cross at the near post that's easily dealt with by Caden Thorpe, who, as mentioned, off the top of the program here. No goals conceded. She's top of the goalkeeping charts for the PACWEST women's soccer. Possibly even the CCAA. I'd have to go check on that one, because no goals conceded over 4 weeks and 7 matches is quite the accomplishment. So tip of the cap there to Caden Thorpe in between the posts of the VIU net. Looks like it's a deep throw in here. Abigail Gade and Cassidy Kwan are at the near post. Oh, clever play there by the Mariners. Right into the naughty area too, and cameraman almost got ahead of Bonazoo, and Azra Sidik was there just to give a bit of insurance to her keeper. Ball into the path of Ingram, side-footed away by Hernandez. Huggle has it now. Cameraman slips on the ball, and Sidik has a chance to come away with it. She has Wells, and she has the onrushing Pashalides if she can get it to her. Wells just dwelled on the ball for far too long there, and Pashalides had made a good run forward. Is Amber Wells in a bit of discomfort now as she jammed her knee? Things might go from bad to worse here for Alvin Prasad, who he might want to find himself a lucky rabbit's foot or a four-leaf clover or a horseshoe or a pot of gold or something that will bring some luck to the squad right now, because they're bitten by the injury bug, and we're watching the bites happen in live time. It looks like Amber Wells will be allowed to continue here. Not allowed. I'm sure she'll allow herself to continue, but it's good to see that there's a Falcon player who won't have to make her way to the physio bench. And it started ever so well, too, the Falcons. You just wonder what maybe could have been had they been able to hold on to some of those starting pieces. And that's not to take away from any of Alvin Prasad's depth pieces on the Falcons bench, but they've carved themselves out such a nice little chemistry and rhythm over the course of these opening 7 match days. And it looks like Amber Wells might be done here. She's holding her right leg and she is barely walking. Alvin Prasad was trying to motivate her verbally, but it looks like Wells is going down. And the referee needs to blow this whistle in case Wells gets rolled over here, but he's going to allow the Falcons to attack. The ball will eventually go out here. And I can't imagine Amber Wells is going to continue here. It looks like she might be done for the day, and that's another blow for the Falcons. 4 players in the first half, and this is certainly going to be an uphill climb for the ladies in orange. And you hate to see it. You certainly hate to see it. We'll have a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard where Amber Wells gets some treatment here. That'll certainly add to the stoppage time at the end of this first half, which has to be around 5 minutes now. We've had 4 players go off and all receive treatment. It looks like Amber Wells is... It almost looked like a hip or something like that. She was kind of just holding the side of her leg as opposed to the knee or the ankle. Of course, we don't want to go ahead and give any diagnoses early. Just about ready to get back underway now. Is Amber Wells going to continue? Just see a player there waiting behind the tent of the Langara Falcons bench, and a little bit of an optical obstacle for the broadcaster at the moment, but it looks like Amber Wells, if I'm going off hairstyle, might be able to continue. It'll be a corner kick here now for the Falcons, as they'll have a chance late in the half in the 39th minute to try and conjure up some offense after doing a lot of ball chasing in the last half hour or so. Ball headed away to the top of the box. Marina Pashalides will try and get there. Amber Wells now back onto the park. We'll see how long she can continue. And hopefully she doesn't press herself if she's truly injured here. As the last thing I'm sure Alvin Prasad wants to do is lose one of his key players in a long-term fashion, as opposed to something that may have been prevented with a little precaution. Right-footed shot just over the bar. I don't want to say it was Dillabo. It might have been Cameraman, actually, who had gone the width of the park and was playing in more of a left channel. Giovinazzo. Gade steps in front of her player to win it. Back heel from Bandel. Couldn't find Gade, but Bandel's going to flash in to try and win it back along that right touchline. We're now into the 41st minute. We'll have a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard just before halftime to see if anything's changed between Douglas and Capilano. Ooh, and a lot has changed between Douglas and Capilano. With about 8 minutes to go in the half, it is now 1-1 between the Royals and the Blues. Chance here for Mary Huggle. To her right for Cameraman. This looks promising for the Mariners. Slid ball back into the path of Ingram, but she just couldn't tow it past Bonazu. Both ladies were on the deck just kind of kicking at it. And it was the keeper with the big mitts who comes away with it in the teal kit. And I'm sure first, second, and third priority for the Falcons right now is just not conceding another goal going into the halftime locker room. Pashalides does well to force Gignac into an errant clearance, and the Falcons will get it back, albeit by their corner flag, which might invite the Mariners on top of them for a high press. Sidik back for a Pinch. Pinch is waiting for some numbers. She doesn't have a lot short, and that was not Pinch's fault. She didn't have any options short there. All the Falcons kind of ran away from her, and this could be danger. Thornton shot, goal, and what a goal. She picks her corner, the number 4. Great hit from Emma Thornton, which puts her at sole leader as the top goal scorers for the VIU ladies on number 4. 4 for number 4. And it's a beauty. That's tough for Madison Pinch, though. On a watch back to the naked eye would look like she made that error, but I don't think that was her error. She was looking for numbers, and nobody really showed short for her. And she was kind of forced to turn back, and by the time that happened, VIU smelt blood, and just what just what Langara don't want to concede another goal going into the halftime locker room, and it's happened. And you don't want to say it's early curtains here for the Falcons just yet, but with this potent Mariners attack and even harder to defense to break down, I don't think the odds are in the favor of the ladies in orange today, especially after just the run of play. With the injuries, with just the controversial calls, let's put it mildly, and the gilt edge play and just cynicism of the VIU Mariners, just doesn't look like it's going to be the day of Langara, which is unfortunate because this was a real 1-2 top of the table battle that had they even managed to get a draw and keep themselves within striking distance. I think that's a positive result for these Falcons. 2 minutes to go until the half, and the last thing they want to do is go down 3. Sidik rises highest to win that. Pashalidis thought she had it chested down on the sideline, but the linesman puts up his flag. And it would be very interesting to have a look back at the replay of that first goal for VIU. I know from first glance, and yes, we are a bit away here, but we had a pretty good look at it. It looked like the ball had clearly gone out, but the linesman who was right there didn't even hesitate about not putting his flag up. So as harsh as I am with some of my criticisms sometimes, I'm always willing to tip the cap or put my hand up if I've seen it wrong or made the wrong call. But I think just based on some of the reactions, you had to feel that that ball had probably gone out. Gade now. Right channel, can she put in a cross? She cuts back in on her left foot. Gade still going, plays it to the top of the box for Amber Wells. That's charged down by Mary Nichols. Good play there by Abigail Gade, though, to pick out that pass for Wells at the top of the box. You've seen Abigail Gade kind of grow into her performances, coming on for early substitutes minutes in the first handful of games. She's looked really well, or really potent, I should say, in those attacking those channels, running those channels, taking on the wing backs of the opposition. I think only with more minutes and more experience, you could see Gade crafted into a very dangerous attacker here in the PACWEST Women's Division. Just getting the signal from down below at the stats bench, and confirmation with crack cameraman Rodrigo up here. It sounded like 4 minutes on the PA announcement, so 4 minutes here until both sets of ladies head into the locker room for some orange slices and some Gatorade and a quick recharge for this PACWEST doubleheader. And of course the men's matchup comes up at 3:30 with top of the table Langara taking on bottom of the table VIU, who are looking for their first win against the Falcons this season. Dillabo into the middle of the park. A little bit of help there on the deflection for Huggle, but she does well to give it to Ingram, and a good first-time ball for Cameraman in acres of space. Cameraman's going to take on Giovinazzo now. Good tackle there from Giovinazzo to prevent the cross, but concede the corner. Floated ball into, it looked like the near post, but it just caught a bit of wind there and it helped it past the goal line. I don't ever think it was ever really effectively in. And it'll be a goal kick for Kate Bonazu in the Langara net. She's wearing the head-to-toe, what would you call that? Coral? Seafoam? Perhaps a light teal? Her opposite number in the goal for the Mariners is wearing a bit of royal purple with some white trimmings as well. Out-of-town scoreboard, about a minute and a half left in Capilano and Douglas's first half. That one is still knotted at 1-1. Cameraman, overlapping run of Gignac. Gignac gets it. Can she put in a cross? She does. It's a beauty, too. Headed clear by Giovinazzo right at the top of the sixth. Cameraman knocks it back down into the box. Thornton's there. Huggle's there. And eventually Madison Pinch just puts the big right boot through it. It's not clear, though, as Hannah Wagner keeps it alive. Good through ball for Dillabo. Is she onside? She isn't. She actually looked like she was onside, but Abigail Gate had stepped up just in the nick of time. And the flag goes up. Probably about a couple minutes here left to go in the first half. Just getting a quick update from down at the Langara physio bench and their media man, Sean Shook. Sears will probably not return today with her shoulder injury. Promising attack here from Gade. We'll just hang on in the injury report just for 2 seconds. Amber Wells goes for a shot. It'll just lift over the net. Rita Sears probably done for the day with her shoulder injury. Madison Hung done with her ankle injury. It looks like Tess Vandevect will succumb to her knee injury as well. Succumb in the way that she won't be able to play for the rest of the matchup, that is. And that will be the halftime whistle, which has been a real tough half for the Langara Falcons. They started ever so well in the first 15 minutes. They were the better of the two squads. They were in the ascendancy. They had the VIU Mariners pinned in, but then 3 quick fire injuries. As mentioned, Sears with the shoulder, Madison Hung on the ankle, and Tess Vandevect on the knee. And almost Amber Wells. And a bruised and battered Langara Falcons make their way into the locker room, licking their wounds ever so slightly. Down 2-0, and the first goal with a bit of controversy as well. The second goal was just a very well-worked strike by the number 4, Emma Thornton, for the VIU Mariners. 2-0 at the half. We'll come back with the second half in just under 15 minutes' time. And, of course, the men's match kicks off at 3:30 between number 1 seeded Langara and number 4 VIU. It's PACWEST doubleheader soccer action all day long at the Langley Event Center and Willoughby Park. And we're back underway here with more of the PACWEST soccer doubleheader at the Langley Event Center in beautiful Langley, British Columbia, Canada. VIU currently leading the Langara Falcons 2-0. Goals from Mary Huggle and Emma Thornton for the Mariners. But the big story of the first half was the absolute battering the Langara Falcons took in the injury column. They've lost all 3 players, starting players no less. Rita Searseris to a shoulder injury. Madison Hung to an ankle injury. And starting center back Tess Vandevek to a knee injury. That all happened in the space of the opening 20-25 minutes or so. And it was around that time that the VIU Mariners really sprung to life. They scored 2 goals. The first one, a dash controversial, as it looked like the ball may have rolled out of play. The flag stayed down, but Langara weren't able to clear it. And the Mariners pounce, so 2-0. The score now doesn't look like there's any substitutions for either squad coming out of the halftime locker room. Uphill climb here for the Falcons, and can't imagine the Mariners will be in cruise control with their goal-scoring ways, but I'm sure they're not going to want to turn this into a track meet or an end-to-end affair with the Falcons by any stretch of the imagination. Entering today's matchup, VIU top of the table on 15 points, Langara second on 13, Douglas third on 4 points, and Capilano on 3 points, bottom of the table. Of course, one meeting between these 2 squads earlier in the season, VIU a convincing 3-0 victory over the Falcons. Of course, VIU the reigning champions. But they are coming off their first loss of the season last week against bottom of the table Capilano. But it doesn't look like it's really upset them too much. Outside of that opening 15 minutes where they had to weather a bit of a storm, they've been enjoying their football so far, have the Lady Mariners. Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard, because Douglas and Capilano are in action. Going into the half, it was a 1-1 draw. Let's see what it's like coming out of the half. And of course, you can get all your highlights, box score stats, and so much more at PACWEST.bc.ca, just under the women's soccer tab. Still looks like they're waiting to kick off that second half. Still 1-1. But only 1 point separating those two if Capilano were to go and get a result, despite their indifferent start to the season. And the result today would actually see them in a playoff spot and see Douglas rooted to the foot of the table. So lots to play for here, not only at the top of the table, but at the bottom. Langara at the moment are just trying to keep things close. If this result were to hold, it would be a 5-point gap between them and VIU, and with lots of goal difference to boast, potentially a couple head-to-head games to boast, it looks like VIU will have all the tiebreakers, so might be a tough ask for Langara to try and get into that first spot, but after a season last year where they didn't make the playoffs to begin with, I'm sure a second place finish would no doubt be looked at as positive momentum moving forward for the future. We're now into the 49th minute. It's 2-0 VIU, but the Falcons look like they've picked up the pace here from the first half. One substitution I'm just noticing here. It looks like Ashleen Jassar has made way, the number 6 for Langara Falcons, and they've brought on their number 8, Manat Dillon, in the middle of the park. We're now into that second half between Douglas, and this might be a chance here for Langara. Manat Dillon, can she find the option? She was trying to play in, looked like Cassidy Kwan, but I think the real play there was for, I believe it was Annette Hernandez, who had kind of come across the 18-yard line and looked to be sizing up for something at the top of the box. It doesn't pay off, and now VIU will have a chance to break. Huggle comes away with it. She's been very good, Huggle. She doesn't give the ball away a ton, and she usually gets her passing bang on. Of course, she's coming off third week Athlete of the Week honors for her performances during a 1-win and 1-loss weekend last time out against Capilano. Douglas and Capilano now in action in the second half. That one's still 1-1. Good play there by Hannah Wagner to win a corner for her side after it looked like she was just boxed out by a couple orange shirts there. Every orange shirt in the box. Shot into the waiting arms of Bonazou. She actually dropped it twice, but thankfully no one in the 6-yard box to tap it home. Giovinazzo, and you can hear Alvin Prasad, or perhaps you can hear Alvin Prasad on the crowd mic just down below us, asking for his players not to hide. He wants to see everybody involved here. Just noticing another substitution here for Langara that was sneakily made at the halftime. They've brought on their center back, Mary Murray, but she's playing up top as a forward, so they're looking for a bit more height. Perhaps a bit more of a physical presence against the likes of Mary Nichols, Maya Creed, and the Mariners defense. Giovinazzo into the right channel. She lifts one forward. Ashleen Jasser was there. Good run there by Pashalides, but Bandel just couldn't get it to her. Jasser back into the fray alongside Dillon. And that's one of those things you like to see about the number 14, Marina Pashalides. She never really stops running. She's always willing to present for her teammates. Last week against Douglas, she probably could have had a couple. She missed from point-blank range on 2 occasions, which may have turned the tide in favor of Langara. It ended up being a 1-1 draw, but it was kind of the story of everybody's evening that day, as even Isabel Dobbin, the leading scorer in the PACWEST women's division, even she was missing opportunities. So it was just one of those days at the park. So you can't blame Pashalides too much, but she's very good about getting herself into those dangerous areas and really creating trouble for the opposing wingers. Langara entering this week, number 7 in the rankings for the CCAA women's soccer. Same as last week. Though depending on this weekend's result, they might drop ever so slightly. Meanwhile, VIU entered rank number 4, which was a big fall for them. They were number 1 with a bullet the prior week, so they'll be looking to get back to greener pastures. Ball into the area for Mary Murray. She spreads it very nicely for Dillon. Dillon's just running out of options here. She has to pivot back all the way to Cassidy Kwan. Sidik tried to feather one through for Pashalides, who was making a lateral run, but that was cut out by Mary Nichols. If you're just joining us, PACWEST soccer doubleheader action all day today here at the Langley Event Center. The men's kickoff at 3:30. Top of the table, VIU. I beg your pardon, top of the table, Langara, taking on bottom of the table, VIU, who have met earlier in the campaign. It was a 2-1 come-from-behind victory for the Langara men. The champion Langara men, it was David Rodriguez-Zagar with both goals, one from open play and then one from a penalty shot. Sidik cross into the area. It's just a bit too central, though. And Marina Pashalides would have been hard-pressed to get on the end of that one. It's going to be a goal kick for Caden Thorpe, who, once again, as mentioned in that first half, has not conceded a goal all season long, and I'm sure she wants to keep that perfect record going, so she's going to be extra hard on her defenders down the stretch. VIU, of course, playing from right to left on your stream today. They're wearing the white kits with a little Pacific Ocean Mariner blue on the shorts, on the piping, on the trim, and on the lettering. White socks, and also a little bit of black piping, lettering, and trim in there. Crisp white kits as well. The Langara Falcons, meanwhile, you usually spot them in all white or head-to-toe black. But today, they're in head-to-toe orange, ahead of National Truth and Reconciliation Day. They're wearing their Snoalith Lellum uniforms. In 2016, Musqueam honored Langara with the name Snoalith Lellum, which means House of Teachings, and it references the advice given to a child to build their character and guide them into adulthood. So plenty of meaning and incentive behind the all-orange strips of Langara today, and of course a little bit of white and black piping, lettering, and trim. They're now going to defend a corner kick here. It's the 57th minute, and VIU have a potential chance to extend their lead. Corner taking short for Mary Huggle. She returns it to Cameraman, who had to kind of reel it in. She does ever so well. Gignac now, left-footed cross. It's a tame one to the top of the area. Dealt with cleanly by Bandel. Pashalides is on her bike. If Dylan can find her, Dylan needs to send it. Oh, it's just a bit too far behind Pashalides, and Alvin Prasad is none too pleased with that one. Pashalides to keep it and has to play it ahead of herself. That was a real opportunity for the Falcons, and Coach Alvin Prasad, I think he knew it there. It's just Manat Dylan couldn't get the ball out of her feet and play it into the path of Pashalides. She needed just a long stinger along the deck for Pashalides to run onto, but instead she played it a bit off pace behind Pashalides, and that took the entire steam out of the attack. And that might be the way home, is just wait for a break in numbers and send Pashalides, because outside of that, since the triple injury the Falcons have sustained, they've yet to find the rhythm and the pace that they had taken up in that opening 15 minutes. Good ball win there by Cassidy Kwan, but all she can do is blast it right up Main Street. 58th minute, 2-0 still for the visiting Mariners. Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Third spot Douglas and fourth spot Capilano still knotted 1-1. 36 minutes to go in the second half. Thornton has got Bandel on her back. Tons of space to the right for Thornton to try and pick out Dillabo. It was actually side-footed away by Sidik, but the Mariners pick up the second wave. Dillabo still going. Dillabo still going. What a dribble by Dillabo! Right at the keeper! And Cameraman can't tap in the pieces. It's a great save by Bonazu, but what a swashbuckling run there by Jay Dillabo. We know she has it in her locker, but that time she was gliding through the Falcons' defense. Offside for the Mariners. Whoo, warning shots there. What a play by Dillabo. Good mitts by Bonazu as well, though. She must have gotten around 5 orange shirts there, Dillabo. She's one of those players, as mentioned in the first half. Mariners scoring by committee, and it's a very large committee. I think they have 7 players with 2 or more goals, and Dillabo's one of them, including a marker last time out in the 3-0 victory against these Falcons. Pashalides now lifts one into the on-running Dylan. It's headed away. Dylan almost gets to the pieces. Annette Hernandez, though, reels it in. First time ball for Pashalides. She has the time to take a touch here. She can. She does. She keeps it in play. Pashalides plays across off the backside of Wagner, and it's a corner kick for the Falcons, which is just what the doctor ordered. And maybe a set piece is the way home for the ladies in orange here, their first of the half. Right-footed in-swinger from Hernandez. Looks like she's going for goal here. It's right in the 6-yard box. Manat Dillon was closest to it. She kind of throws a half-hearted left leg at it. All she can do is really redirect it, hoop it back over the net. And that's a real chance gone to begging for the Falcons, who I guess the ball just wouldn't really sit up for them, but no one looked like they were really willing to attack it. There was just a lot of static energy in the penalty box there, and unfortunately Dillon just couldn't get over top of her effort. And it's no real trouble in the net for Caden Thorpe. Dillon, unforced error. Sidik stoops down to nod it forward for Bandel. Ball smashed right up the middle of the park for Ingram to chase, the Nanaimo native. Huggle. Ball lifted, looking for Ingram again. That one taken care of by Dylan. I'm not sure what the call is here. It's just been brought back a ways. Maybe a foul on the Mariners. Giovinazzo. Ooh, she's been caught under a bit of pressure there, and she was dispossessed. It's a good last-ditch bit of backtracking defending, though, from Cassidy Kwan to prevent a chance. Good move there by Hernandez, and a good pass forward if Bandel can get to it. It was just kind of in between two players there, but good little spell by Hernandez to shake free of a tackle and try and spread it for her teammates. Pashilidis now kind of getting bodied up by two players there. A little bit of a pick and a little bit of interference. And I will say this about the Falcons' second half, though, where they almost looked a bit shell-shocked after they took those 3 injuries, and almost a fourth to Amber Wells as well, who, just having a quick scan, doesn't look like she's on the park anymore, so probably a precautionary measure there to keep her off the park. But they look just a bit more sure with the ball at their feet in the second half, do the Falcons. They're bopping it around a little bit nicely. They don't look like they're sitting in such a low bunk and just wanting to defend after watching some of their teammates hit the physio table. Di Ruggiero now into the play as well. She's on that left side. A feisty player is Di Ruggiero. Giovinazzo wins it. Plays it into the path of Bandel, who uncharacteristically today, Bandel, she's had her touch get away from her. She's usually very certain at receiving some of those 10-yard passes and shielding away from other players, but today she's had a real struggle on controlling some of the balls and keeping her usual momentum going. Sidik, good ball forward for Bandel. That's more like it from Bandel. She gets it to Hernandez. Into the path of Pashilidis. That gets away from Pashilidis. Out-of-town scoreboard watching. Douglas and Capilano, as mentioned, in action on the women's side as well. We'll get you that score here shortly. Just waiting for the PACWEST BC.ca website to update. Cameraman. Head full of steam, Cameraman. Jasser comes over to stifle her momentum. Still 1-1 between Douglas and Capilano. About a half hour left to go there. Giovinazzo loses out. Mary Huggle tried to spread it to her left for Dillabo. Beg your pardon, it was actually her right for Dillabo, but Azra Sidik, who's been very good, she brings a different style of defense than Rita Sear-Sirius. Rita Sear-Sirius gets up and down the touchline a bit more and can really whip in across, but Azra Sidik does ever so well as kind of a stay-at-home left back. And obviously she's been given an assignment just to prevent Dillabo and Ingram and Huggle from marching in on net, and so far, job done, I'd say, for Azra Sidik. Pashilidis under pressure for Giovinazzo. Tidy ball inside for Hernandez, who spins to her left. Great play by Hernandez. Great pivoting play as well. Sidik takes it inside. Still going Sidik. And a really clever ball for Mary Murray. And again, the first touch for Di Ruggiero in the penalty box. This looks good for the Falcons. Di Ruggiero back for Dylan. They need to get this ball into the naughty area. Dylan plays a low, hard one. Probably in line with the penalty dot, but it's easily taken care of by Mary Nichols, who will just dribble it out to the touchline for Mary Huggle. That was a good little spell of play there by the Falcons. They were really zipping the ball around nicely. First touch soccer. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get the ball into the box, and it's kind of been the story of their night. When they do get in these dangerous areas, they just can't find the finishing touches. Giovinazzo now in a healthy duel with Thornton. Pushes her over. The referee took a couple minutes to think about that one, and for my taste it looked a bit light, but it was on the back, and the referee erred on the side of caution and blew his whistle. We're going to have a substitution coming up here for VIU. Number 26, Tiana Chow, is going to come on. And I believe it'll be the goal scorer who actually just got bundled over, Emma Thornton, who will come off. Leading scorer, Emma Thornton, worth mentioning. She got her 4th of the campaign to take her as sole leader of the goal-scoring category for the Mariners. The sun just peeking out here in Langley. It looked like it was going to be a very gray, gloomy, rainy day. Dillabo across for Cameraman. It's a tap-in for the number 3 of the Mariners, but that is all Dillabo, and she's been doing it all night long. She skated through the defense there. Just hovered, floated, levitated through the defense of the Falcons, and she picks out the pass at the back post, and who else? It's Cameraman to tap it home. And it's a mirror image of what happened here 3 weeks ago. 3-0 for the league-leading VIU Mariners. The last thing you want to do is see the heads drop from the Falcons here. They've played pretty good in this second half. They've been the better of the two teams across the run of play, but unfortunately, when the Mariners get in and around that 18-yard box, you can just see the devilishness come out in their eyes, the fire come out in their eyes. Like I say, they're like a shark tasting blood in the water. They're not going to back down, and they're being relentless at the moment against an undermanned Falcon squad. I don't want to count out the Falcons, but with 20 minutes plus a little bit of stoppage to go, this would be quite the comeback if they were able to claw even a drawback from this one. But if this result were to stand, that would put VIU 5 points clear of Langara, with every possible tiebreaker pretty much going their way. And you don't want to say the chances of a Langara top seed bye are done and dusted just yet, but they're pretty much going to have every result go their way, and VIU just look like a club who aren't going to buckle at the moment. They have not given up an inch. Their only blemish on the season was a 1-0 shock loss to Capilano last time out, and something tells me we probably won't see that happen again. Ruggiero, I beg your pardon. Trying to press the issue there, but keeper Thorpe not really too concerned. She launches it right up the middle of the park for Dillabo to control. Giovinazzo. Now Pashalidis. She doesn't have a ton of options, Pashalidis. She goes back for, I believe it's Jasser. They have a Giovinazzo just bellowing to her defenders to step their lineup. They were hanging a bit deep. And Sidik is still hanging a bit deep. She's kind of keeping everybody onside. She has to watch herself, Sidik. Good ball win in the middle of the park for Langara. And it might just be a consolation goal to hang their hat on today for Langara. Outside of that first 15 minutes or so, VIU have looked the more potent of the squads. Langara were on top of things in the second half, but they just couldn't really get close to the net of the Mariners to get a chance. Huggle for Dillabo. That's a good cross. She's looking for Ingram. It flies past Giovinazzo, and Jasser's been caught napping. Great save there by Bonazou. Giovinazzo and Jasser just crossed their wires there, and Cameraman snapped right in there and almost got her second goal of the matchup if it wasn't for some good goalkeeping there by the number 1, Kate Bonazou. .24 minutes to go between Douglas and Capilano. That is still tied 1-1. Substitution upcoming for the Mariners. Number 24, Emma Riccardi, looks like she's going to come on. The Windsor, Ontario native. Score on the out-of-town scoreboard. 22 minutes left to play. Douglas now up 2-1 on Capilano. So the Royals will extend their lead in third place. And that really puts a hurting on Capilano's chances of making the playoffs. They're pretty much going to have to win all their head-to-heads with Douglas. And at the moment, that's just not happening for them. Ooh, it's a 4-on-3 break here for the Mariners. They're going to get there. Is Dillabo going to beat Kwan to it? She is, but can Kwan keep her at bay? She does. That's good defending by Kwan. Right-footed shot by Dillabo. Still did well to unleash that one, but from that angle, it would have been a tough ask to beat Kate Bonazou. Really good defending there by Kwan, who looked like she might get burnt there on the pace. But just, like I said, kept her at bay. Just put up the big forearm and used some good body positioning and some core strength to force her outside. Mary Murray will force the Mariner defenders into a swift play and an unforced error. Giovinazzo has it now. She's wearing the captain's armband, by the way, here for the Falcons today. Oh, and now the ball again has broken favorably for the Mariners. Chow to her right for Huggle. Good dropping by the Falcons, though, as what looked like it might be a very outnumbered counterattack became an even battle, but now Siddiq has gifted possession right back to Chow. Right-footed shot, that's charged down. I think it's Dillabo on that far portion of the area in a bit of a heap. Mary Huggle has it. Right-footed cross, top of the area, comes off the midsection of Kwan. Right-footed shot from Chow over the bar from the top of the 18, unchallenged. Chow had a good look at that one. All she can do is clear it over the bar of Bonazou. 74th minute. The substitution now being made. It's going to be Cameraman, the goal scorer. She will come off, and Riccardi will come on. Amber Wells is also making her way back into this one for Azra Siddiq. Good win by Wells there. Unfortunately, she just couldn't keep it in play under some pressure from the Mariners' right wingers. As mentioned earlier, it was supposed to be kind of gray and gloomy and potentially a bit wet and windy here at the Langley Event Center. But it's actually turned into a really nice, calm, sunny, but still kind of brisk afternoon for soccer. It's a really good early fall kind of temperature for soccer. Another counterattack here for the Mariners. Chow spreads it to her left for Dillabo, who switched sides. Dillabo carries on to her left, back to her right now. Dillabo, right-footed shot. It's a worm burner. It didn't have a lot of real mustard to test Bonazu, and it rolls harmlessly into her waiting arms. Double substitution coming up here for VIU. Number 15, Aaron Jensen coming on. Also number 25, Jetta Nelson. Aaron Jensen, number 15, Jetta Nelson, number 25. They're queued up at the halfway line, waiting to be admitted into this one. About 15 minutes to go, so some warm-up minutes, some potential cleanup minutes, if you will, for the Mariners as they try and see this one out in a professional manner. Good switch of play there by Nichols, albeit a little bit behind Dillabo, but if there's anybody you want to rally to retrieve a ball, it's probably Jay Dillabo, much like Camerman, Cerceris, Pashalides, just one of those players who can seemingly run for hours. Ooh, that was almost a coming together in the middle of the park between Giovinazzo and Chow, but thankfully both ladies put on the brakes at the right time. That's a clever ball in for Ingram. Can she get it over the keeper? She can! But she just poked it too hard with that toe, and it laces over the crossbar. She did the right thing there, did Ingram. It was a clever little run and a clever little ball from Chow as well. Cute little play there, and I think Ingram just wanted a bit more loft and a little bit less drive in that shot, and that goes in the back of the net. She's enjoying her football, though, Ingram. All smiles as she comes off. Double substitution now made. Jensen and Nelson onto the park. Out-of-town scoreboard, 17 minutes to play between Douglas and Capilano. The Royals of Douglas still holding a 2-1 lead. Good steady play there by Giovinazzo, and it's a tough day at the office when you're a defender and you concede 3 goals, but Giovinazzo has been one of those bright spots. Good play there by Wells. Nelson tries to lift a ball into the path of the right winger for VIU, and that was a robust tackle on the far side, to say the least. Coming together of bodies, I think it was Amber Wells who just shrugged off her opponent there. Chow, that ball hit a hand. Referee not calling handballs today, seemingly, which, hey, as long as you do it both ways, I guess that's consistent. Dylan. Jasser. The Falcons having a tough time just really settling the ball down at the moment, and Hernandez just got fed up with that and just thumps it into touch by the One Soccer and the Hellman's Mayonnaise sign on the far side. Gignac, the number 12 for VIU, is taking her sweet time getting to that one. The Nanaimo-born Gignac. Misplaced pass there, rolls into the feet of Amber Wells, who managed to get that one free, but in a sea of white shirts. In a real dogfight at the moment, Wells. Good play in by Dillabo. She's found Wagner. Inside run by Wagner just got lost in the shuffle ever so slightly. Good defense by Giovinazzo again. Oof. Robust tackle from Wells, and you got to tip your cap. She was pretty beaten up in that first half, but after a quick little breather on the sidelines here, she's come back with, as I like to say, a little bit of pepper in her soup, and she doesn't look like she's backing down from any tackles at the moment. That's a great dummy. It's going to come out the opposite side for Nelson, I believe. Can she cut it back? She does ever so cleanly off the crossbar, straight up in the air. And then Jasser lets it bounce, and the keeper wasn't even close to it. A curious decision there by the number 6, but thankfully, if you're a Falcons fan, they've gotten away with it. That was all hands on deck there, and I think if Jetta Nelson probably could have had a touch there on the penalty dot and settled herself before she took that shot. But it rattles the crossbar. Could easily be 4-0 here for the Mariners. Bandel just waiting for options, and she just got swarmed there, did Bandel. She's done well to win it back, though, Bandel. Paschalides, can she get the ball? Great ball! Excellent weighted ball for Paschalides. She needs help, though. All she has is Jasser, and no orange shirts really there. She hits the crossbar now, does Paschalides. Good effort there from the number 14, who, like I said, she didn't really have a ton of options there, Paschalides. I think it was a late arriving run from either Jasser or Dylan, but it was a very late arriving run, so Paschalides tried her luck on net, and not a bad effort as that one almost knuckled in. So stereo crossbars, one from the Mariners and one from the Falcons as we wind down the clock here. Just about 9 minutes to go, and it looks like the Mariners might make amends for that last weekend loss with a resounding win here, albeit aided by some Falcon injury and some, let's just say, bad rub of the green for the Falcons ladies. Jasser plays it into the path of Paschalides. That would have been a tough one to get to for Paschalides. And it'll be a goal kick. Out-of-town scoreboard. Under 13 minutes to play between Douglas and Capilano. At last glance, it was 2-1 for the Royals. We'll see if we have any update there. Dylan. And Dylan's got lost in possession again. And another counterattack for the Mariners will break. Jensen. She's the nearest, and she'll get to it in the left channel. She has Giovinazzo to beat. To the top of the box for Henderson. Still going Henderson. Tried to open up for a shot. It was a tame one. It actually got past Kwan, but didn't really trouble Bonazoo. Double substitution coming up. VIU will bring Nicola Underwood in from Kamloops. And Langara will bring back in the number 10, Abigail Gade from Maple Ridge. There were some times in that center of the park for the Falcons where I just feel maybe Annette Hernandez would be better suited to carrying the ball forward or playing some of those through balls. She's so skilled with the ball at her feet and just manages to acknowledge space. I think the Falcons have been at their best in the second half when they've kind of let her not dictate the play per se, but get that first initial kind of movement forward going. Bandel has really sprung to life as well. She seems to thrive in a more higher pressing role where she can really get on the ball and make life miserable for defenders. She's on it now in the center line. Dispossessed by Dillabo. Bandel back on the ball now. Paschalides, she's going to get it. Great range of passing from Bandel as well. That one just had a bit too much steam on it, and Paschalides couldn't get on the end of it. Five minutes to go here. Kwan had a bit of time there to go back to Bonazoo, but perhaps heard a couple shouts that she wasn't expecting and elects to play it out into touch. Under 9 minutes to play between Douglas and Capilano, the Royals still up 2-1. foul. Probably about 30 yards out, dead central, and if Mary Nichols fancies one, which of course she does, the number 7, will jog her way up to the ball. She's going to have a real great opportunity here. This is about the perfect distance for a free kick taker. Gives you just enough to get it up and over the wall, and enough time for it still to dip under a crossbar, and she did it in the last match, and she almost did it this match. We'll see if the central defender for the Mariners can add to her free kick resume here. Oh, it's taken a deflection, and it's wrong-footed Bonazu, but thankfully that deflection took just enough sting off of it and screwed it back into Bonazu's arms. I thought that might wrong-foot the keeper, but just enough butter taken off of it to the point where it didn't really even trouble Langara. Good break here. Paschalidis, can she get into a naughty area? Here comes the cross. It's a right footer into the path of Gade. She takes a touchdown, still has it, Gade. Can she unleash a shot? Back for Dillon. They just can't find the lane here, Can Langara. It's good collapsing around the ball for the Mariners, but it's been the story of the Falcons afternoon. They get in and around that 18-yard box, but they just can't pick the lock. They can't get that final push forward to surge through that back line of the Mariners, which has been very compact today. Diagonal ball into the path of Paschalidis. She tried to put the noggin onto it, but it flies over her hair. Time ticking down on a potential consolation marker here for the Falcons in orange. Great through ball. I believe that's Nelson carrying into the penalty box. Nelson cuts it back to the top of the area. That one side-footed away by Hernandez, who didn't take any chances. Probably could have taken a touch and tried to find a teammate, but with that pace and that kind of panic going on in the penalty box, Hernandez didn't take any chances. She plays it out. Chow for Gignac, and all the way back to Nichols. Ooh, good ball win there by Gade. Unfortunately, Di Ruggiero just a bit heavy-footed on the clearance. Puts it out of the range of Gade or Bandel or even Paschalidis to try and get on the end of. Just about to tick over into the 90th minute now. This might be the final kick of the can here for the Falcons. Can't imagine a ton of added time. There wasn't a lot of stoppages here in the second half, unlike the first half where it seemed like somebody was leaving on a stretcher every 5 minutes. Rita Sears with a shoulder. Tess Vandevect with a knee. Madison Hung with an ankle. All major contributors to the early season success for the Falcons so far in 2025. So you just knock on wood and hope that Alvin Prasad can have one or two of those ladies available for upcoming fixtures. They didn't look like great injuries. All three of those ladies came off right away. There wasn't any, can she manage this? Should we play her a couple minutes, but let's be precautionary? No, they looked like outright injuries. So shot there from Bandel from distance, but not off by much. You just hope Alvin Prasad can keep that rhythm going, even if he does have to rely, on some of those depth pieces on his bench. The full 90 just about to roll over. Wells. Giovinazzo. Good layoff by Hernandez. Paschalidis looked like she was playing one right up the middle for Gade, but it was intercepted by Bandel. Ooh, that's a stern challenge on the back there. I think it's Di Ruggiero who perhaps just said to herself, you know what, I want to make myself feel good about me, so I'm just going to run into somebody, because that's what that looked like that happened there. Just full blast into the back of the VIU player, and it's a foul. Clumsy, but not malicious. And that will be the full-time whistle. Another 3-0 defeat for the Langara Falcons against the league-leading VIU Mariners. The tail of the tape, 3 injuries to Rita Sirius, Madison Hung, and Tess Van de Vecht seriously influenced the outcome of this one. And the Falcons just couldn't get back on the pace and couldn't really regroup and deal with the Mariners after the unfortunate injuries to their 3 stalwart starters. They battled, they didn't have a ton of chances, and they had to weather a few storms, but unfortunately for the Lady Falcons, they'll stay rooted to second place heading into next week's affairs. VIU, meanwhile, extend their lead atop the table to 8 points. With matches still to come, of course. Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Douglas still leading Capilano 2-1, that one with about 2 minutes to go. We have the second match of our PACWEST soccer doubleheader coming up. It's a 3:30 kickoff between the PACWEST men's league leading and champion Langara Falcons. They welcome bottom of the table VIU, who are still looking for their first victory over Langara. As mentioned, that kicks off at 3:30. The women's result in the books, VIU take care of business. 3-0 against Langara, extend their lead atop the table to 8 points for the time being. Quick break, back with more PACWEST soccer doubleheader action live from the Langley Event Center.